How is everybody doing tonight? Welcome back to another episode of Boys in the Zone. I got two of my best mates here, the guys from the Star We Are. Unfortunately, we could not have Slam and Sammy. She's kind of has a little bit of a bug, unfortunately, but we're hoping that she gets better and can join us in a future show. But without further ado, hop over here to my guy Jimmy J and shout yourself out and your Twitter and also your guys' joint account and what you guys do over there.
For sure. So you can definitely. I'm Jimmy J's here. I've got Landry's Legend right next to me. Of course, like you said, Slam and Sammy couldn't make it this evening, but we are the star. We are, and we are for fans by fans. We always encourage to fan responsibly, and so what we do is we represent our fan base when the team can't do it for us.
Awesome. Got my guy Cuts by Jones in here already saying, "What's cracking, homies?"
What's up,
Super,
Jones?
super cool guy. Hey,
Fellas,
listen, he's not a sponsor of my show, but he might as well be, you guys. If you guys need a cut, if you need something, a wooden piece, exactly just like that, I'm waiting for mine because he's got some cooking up for me. But if you need something like that, man, definitely hit up Cuts by Jones because he has some wicked pieces and he can do customs too. So hit him up on
Definitely.
Twitter. Also got my guy Vinny or Vince P. Always in the chat, always a huge supporter as well. So I got to shout him out. And hey, EJ, I'm about to post your cut. So hey, that's gonna be dope.
oh,
I'm
come
really
on now.
excited for that.
Let's
Um,
go.
Hey,
but
listen, EJ,
anyways. Oh, go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
got, yeah, I got something for Jones. I guess it's a little deeper than I don't want to get to it. While we're on the show, I'll have to talk to him later on. But
Well,
I'm
go.
trying to
Hey,
get to.
go
I'm
ahead and
trying to
shout
be in.
yourself out, Landry.
I'm trying to be in the San Antonio area in like the first week of April, and I know he's in that area. So well, if I'm in that area, I'd love to see him. In that time period because it's a long time till the season still. We had a lot of fun last year.
Absolutely, man. He's a cool dude, and I did honestly didn't get a chance to talk to him at the big tailgate for the Jets game. But next time I'm gonna come down there, I'm definitely gonna have to connect with Jones, and we'll honestly all have to connect and just go out to the bars and Texas Live and all that stuff and hang out because it's gonna be a fun time. Um, Regardless, though, we have a fun show tonight. We're going to be talking about the Cowboys free agency. We're going to be talking about the Washington Cowboys, a new team to the NFC East. I don't know if you guys have heard, but it's a weird thing that they're doing over there. They're getting the old Cowboys players, they're bringing them over. The old coaches from the Cowboys bringing them over, and they're really trying to copy us. I don't know why, because we haven't won a damn thing in I don't know ages, but it is what it is. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be running through a mock draft towards the end of the show and talking some prospects and stuff like that. So the first question is on these departures that have left the Cowboys thus far: Tyler Biadasz, Tony Pollard, Dorrance Armstrong, Dante Fowler. Do any of those guys stick out for you guys, or were you hoping that we re-signed any of them? What's your guys' thoughts on that? And I'll start with Jimmy.
So obviously, the biggest one for me is your blind side. I mean, it's Tyron Smith, and I know we probably have a premier left tackle on our hands in Tyler. I just don't like to have to replace offensive linemen when you're in a position to win now. A lot of people would
EJ
say,
EJ thinks we're going to re-sign him.
Yeah,
right, well,
well,
and
Right? You
here's the
you
thing:
you
is
you're still under the impression that he's gone for some reason, and
well,
I'll start with the caveat of this. Like, my thing is the Cowboys offered Tyron Smith some contract, undisclosed. We don't really know what it was, but Tyron's agent basically said, "Yo, that's not good enough. We're going to test free agency." And that's
right,
why the Michael Gelkin reports and all that stuff came out is they're going to test free agency. Cowboys and Tyron Smith likely parting ways because the agent was probably whispering in Tyron's ear, "Yo, you can get way more than that on the open market."
they
Now,
probably can.
flash forward, almost 48 hours now, and he hasn't. And it's strange because Tyron was one of those premier tackles on the market, and there's a lot of tackle needy teams. Jets, Chiefs, those two teams come to mind for me. However, it's a very good tackle class in the upcoming draft. So, possibly there is a back window open for Tyron Smith to rejoin the team. I'm hoping and praying that because I don't want to be pigeonholed into a tackle in round one. Um, but in specifically more, and we'll get into the Tyron talk, but in specifically more the guys that have signed away already. Jimmy, go ahead.
No, for sure. And to touch on Landry's point, I feel like he's already gone, and this is kind of why. The money I'm saying, now I know we've seen it. Patience on him. No one's reached out to him as far as we know yet. We haven't seen any numbers and a team connected to Tyron Smith, so we have no idea. There may have already been some calls with some numbers attached. Not really sure. Um, if if the teams out there that are paying linemen right now are dropping the numbers they're dropping, Tyron's going to get a decent number from a team that I don't think we are willing to give him.
We
So
can
that
match.
so that's why I feel like he's already gone. I feel like even if he waits, right? Even if he waits till after the draft and going into camp and somebody's like, okay, we got to have a left tackle over here. It's not like I don't think he's looking for a 4 or 5 year long payday. He's probably looking at something 2 to 3 year range. So he might be trying to max that. So I think the patience might be seeing what everybody else gets. And then just in case Landry missed it, my point was the reason I think he's gone is the money that other linemen are getting right now. He's going to get something comparable, I feel like, and I don't feel like Dallas
Yeah.
is. We're not
No,
willing to pay that.
I got there, and he is. So I guess it's fair to assume it. But yeah, I'm just saying you're putting it out there as if he's not with the
Right.
team. So
Yeah, no, he's not gone yet. Fair enough.
Yeah, absolutely. Landry, did you have any thoughts on Tony Pollard, Tyler Biotish, Dorrance Armstrong, Dante Fowler, one of those guys that have left indefinitely?
not in particular, personally. I'm not terribly concerned about any of them. Now I got to represent for Sam because she's not here for sure. If it's anybody, it's Tony Pollard. Look, I like the guy here, right? He had a spark. He's a good football player. But some, people have to go and in my personal opinion, we can draft Tony Pollard in the draft,
Yeah.
or someone
No.
like him, or someone that. And as far as some other guys go, Dorrance Armstrong's a good player, but he was a rotational player on our team, and he's going to go start somewhere. And that's what happens in the NFL. Tyler Biotish, I probably wanted to resign Tyler Biotish to make things easier along the offensive line and not start moving so many pieces so quickly when we were so solid for what feels like going on a decade now. Starting with the drafting of Tyron Smith, but that didn't happen. And honestly, he was a 4th round pick, and that's what he played up to so far. Maybe a little bit better. We got to be better there, though.
Yeah. No, you
So
make a good point about Tyler Biotish and the fact that, he was a 4th round pick. We can't expect him to be an absolute stud or a world beater. He was serviceable, but in my opinion, it was time to move on. You can do better than him. It cost you. It cost you possibly using a 1st or a 2nd round pick. And that's a heavy investment for a team that has so many holes. I mean, you talk about your nickel corner, you don't have one on the roster right now. You talk about your left tackle, you don't have one on the roster. Center, you don't have one on the roster. Linebackers, the only one that you have really is Damone Clark.
people are glossing
In
over
defensive tackle.
People have forgotten about Demarion Overshown. I know you haven't seen him play, but I think he can. So that's
Well,
more,
yeah, definitely DeMarvion Overshown has the ability to be a good linebacker and was worthy of the third overall, or not third overall pick, but
and it's
3rd round
inflated,
selection. And he's going to play. He's coming back from the ACL, so who knows? Obviously, very
Sure.
early. It was in the preseason, so he had time to rehab, which is a good thing. But yeah, I mean, there's so many holes on this roster, and the Cowboys haven't filled any of them other than the long snapper. Like, do you guys feel good about what the Cowboys are doing in free agency or lack thereof? What we're doing, or is there any contract that's out there right now? And chat, I'll throw this question to you guys: is there any contract that you would have done from a different team? Like the rumors came out with the Zach Moss. The Cowboys wouldn't even pay Zach Moss the 2 for $8 million because it was too much. Like, how do you feel about that? How do you deal with this thing as a fan and just wanting us to get better and seeing the opponents in the same division get better? Brian Burns for the New York Giants gets traded there. Saquon Barkley, say what you want, but and yes, he is injury prone, but him with the read option with Jalen Hurts is scary. Then you add all of the moves that the Commanders are making, and we knew that they were going to make a lot of moves in free agency just because of their cap situation. But talk about that. Like, do you feel like the Cowboys are doing enough, and is there a move that you would have done for the Cowboys that another team did? Jimmy?
Yeah, so I can't say that they're doing enough when you haven't done anything, right? Like we're the one of the 32 teams, whether it be our own players minus Trent Sieg, and I think it was we re-signed to somebody else, I
Carl
believe it was
Davis.
Carl Davis. There you go. So besides that, we're the one of the 32 teams that haven't really moved. So I can't say we're doing enough because we haven't done anything. So it
Yeah.
can't be, nothing can be enough. Um, Now I will say the contracts I wouldn't have done. Dan Quinn, as you said, got Dorrance Armstrong. You said it was 3 years for 45 million.
45 million.
When we can't pay Dorrance Armstrong that, not a chance. Um, Tyler Biotish, what do you were you familiar
Three
with what
three
his
for
contract
30,
was?
I believe.
3 for 30. That's not bad. Now, when it comes to Biotish's contract, that's one you really got to weigh. That's one that you really sit down and tip the scales on. 30 million a year. I mean, 30 million, 10 a year, or spend capital on a draft. Right now, if you
Maybe you
think you
already
can
see
spend the
something in the draft.
it's true. Maybe you already see something there, and that's the thing is the draft capital and the possible what's a lineman going to cost you at 24, 5 to 7 a year, 6 to 8, right? If
I don't know if it'd be that much, especially the first year, but regardless, it pigeonholes you into positions of need. And when you do that as a front office, you're telling your scouts, hey, neglect these positions in these rounds and you don't go BPA, you don't hold true to your board. I believe that's what got them in trouble last year, is reaching for, hey, our team's so good right now, we can afford to take people for the future and build for the future, even though we don't need these positions right away. And that's what got them in trouble. Oh, these guys have position versatility. They can do kind of this and that. They're not true to one position. That's what got them in trouble. Stop going for the guys that you think are going to be a backup at best. I don't care if you throw a dart at a second round pick that you think has a really great upside and is better than. I think like you can say whatever you want. Trayvon Diggs was an upside pick. He was not the greatest corner coming out of Alabama, only with true corner
No,
for 2 years there. Broke his leg one of the years, so he was rehabbing that. That was a high upside pick. Then you talk about CeeDee Lamb, the same draft. Nobody thought CeeDee Lamb was going to be there. They saw, oh, he's so high on our board, we cannot afford to not go with this guy. And so
That was
you
for sure.
you
Yeah.
look at that draft, and then I believe Osa Odigizua was part of that draft as well. Maybe it was a different draft, but I think Tyler Biotis was a part of that draft. So you had a really good draft that year, and you weren't worried about filling needs necessarily. You just picked BPA each time, and it helped you. Remember, Michael Gallup was very, very good the year prior to drafting CeeDee Lamb. Amari Cooper was a top
yeah,
10 wide receiver at that time, and you took CeeDee Lamb. That's what we have to get back into the realm of doing as a front office. Picking
yeah.
the best available players at the best available spot, not because it's a position in need, but because it's a good player. We saw him do this in the college ranks so many times before. Now, factor that over to free agency, that same mind of thinking. You cannot bargain bin shop in free agency and expect you to get great value for pennies on the dollar. Like these guys know what they're worth. They're looking for a payday. To go into free agency opening with $2 million to your name to be able to sign people is borderline malpractice as an
That's
organization.
so that's where I'm at, and and maybe there's something under the fine lines that we don't see, that I don't see. For me, why is every organization not done with any major extension? You need to get done. Quarterback, Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Micah. If you know these type of things are coming, if you're going to do them that year, have them done before free agency. Then you that's done. Then you
Yeah,
know
no,
your
no, no,
cap
no.
space. Now,
They had the
maybe there's stuff like
opportunity.
I said.
Sorry to cut you. They had the
No, you're good.
opportunity to extend Dak Prescott, get that deal, get it ahead of it, and open up a large majority of money. They had the opportunity to extend a Trayvon Diggs and open up $12 million of cap space. The one thing that they did, excuse me, the one restructure they did was on one of the oldest players on the roster in Zach Martin. Why? Pick your young guys that you know are going to be a part of your future and go with those guys. It doesn't make sense to me, but I'll let you continue your point.
No, so it it's tough. It's just tough. So here's here's what I will say about contracts, money we got to spend coming up in the free agency, things like that. When we look back at last year and we weren't making moves in the free agency, if you look back at Gilmore and Cooks, people thought those were like valid moves. Like we just come off of 2 12-win seasons. You add a bona fide corner to go across from Diggs. We didn't know Bland was going to be a world send at the time. But we thought we had two lockdown corners. We were already talking, Gilmore and Diggs could be the best cornerback duo in football. We ended up with that almost anyways with Bland and Gilmore, which I'd love to be able to bring Gilmore back. We'll see about that. But my point is, Cooks and Gilmore were moves like, okay, we're trying to win. We just added some pieces at needs, and now we have the leverage, like you said. When we go to the draft, we can kind of just pluck the players we would like more than we
Yeah.
have to. But I'd like to remind everybody that Cooks and Gilmore weren't acquired in free agency; they were traded for. So
Yeah.
while we're not making these big name splashes right now, and like, well, we haven't signed anybody, that doesn't mean we're not offering somebody a fourth, fifth, or sixth round pick for some quality pieces like Stephon Gilmore and Brandon Cooks. Those moves can be made all the way up until training camp. So I dropped a Jimmy Jewell, the actually it's the one coming out tonight, and it's basically saying don't hit the panic button, because when we do talk about this draft and you talk about it being lineman heavy, it's also running back heavy. It's not as linebacker heavy as I would like it, considering linebacker is a huge need for us.
Yeah.
But for me, if you need a lineman, a linebacker, and a running back round 1, 2, and 3, you're going to land quality players. But it does contradict when you have Jerry Jones saying, well, I can tell you this, we're not trying to prepare for the future this year. That's not what we're doing. We're not picking, we're not going to make moves that are building for the future. We want to win now type deal. That's not an exact quote, but that's what he said. He said, we're not building for the future this offseason. Well, that kind of contradicts when it looks like you have to fill a whole lot of holes in the draft. Because usually you can't just guarantee yourself like, oh, we just nailed those 4 picks. We got Pro Bowlers right there. Now, I will say Will McClay's done it. So we can't count it out. Not everybody pulls Wanye Thomas after the draft and ends up with a PFF grade like that guy. So we'll see.
Landry, do you have any points on this?
I mean, you guys are covering a lot, but it's 48 hours into free agency. Again, with it not hitting the panic button, every player is not gone. I 100% with the Dak. Sure, Dak. I think Dak should be done by this time. It's just hard for me to say too much because the front office is involved in this every single day. They've been involved in this since the last contract, probably looking at this contract coming up. So it's hard for me to pinpoint why it's not done. It feels like you'd rather have it done and have the cap space so you could do something early. To the Gilmore and the Cooks moves, in terms of you saying that they felt like, I don't know if they felt like all in moves. They felt like more than we had done recently before that. They felt like more than we had done since Brandon Carr.
For our front office, it felt like something major.
It's number one, it's been 48 hours, and number two, you can't buy every player. Like I have friends, other close personal friends who literally are upset after every signing that happens during free agency.
Yeah.
But we should buy everybody. Let's, there's a salary cap. And I'm not an economics major to be able to explain it all, but there's, more than a few reasons behind why we don't just jump on. And it hasn't been our tendency for years. And I guess I don't love it.
Right.
And
which kind of begs the question, like we were saying, why not have these extensions done? That way you can kind of know, okay, here's what we can spend. But then, like you said, we can't see these underlying factors that determine those things, and why not? Maybe there's not a reason and we just flub it. Maybe there's a great reason that we don't understand,
But it seems like it would. It's certainly Dak Prescott. Because that's the money. That's where your money's at.
So. That's the one that should be done 2 years
Absolutely.
ago.
Yeah, I want to shout out some people in the chat real quick. Troy Park in here. We should go 0-17 and just look forward to 2025 draft. Got my guy Falcon always showing support. I hate it here. Right there with you, Falcon. Cuts by Jones. We shouted him out earlier on the top of the show. Guys from Cowboys Cave, whether it be Mike or Kelly, glad that you guys are in here kicking it with me, and the star we are as well. Cap space doesn't always, or actually matter till the 13th. Could have signed anyone for anything. Just needed to redo those contracts to get under the 13th.
Yeah.
Falcon makes a good point, and I want to rewind a little bit because you brought up the point of the Cowboys making those moves as far as for Cooks and Gilmore as trades, right? And the reason why I want to bring that up is because those are direct correlations between two bad position groups the year prior. The wide receiver group, you only had CeeDee Lamb. You had to make a move that you felt good about, and you could maybe say, okay, we had Jalen Tolbert at that time, but he wasn't doing anything at that time. Michael Gallup was off the
He is
ACL.
now.
Noah Brown was, Noah Brown. So the Cooks trade was, hey, we need that help right now. We have to do it. Gilmore, what was that a direct correlation to? Anthony Brown getting torched week after week after week after week.
Sure.
And so they said, we have to do this. We got to go get a player to stay competitive because we lost games because of our cornerback too the year
Something
prior,
better.
right?
Yeah.
The Cowboys rinse and repeat this. You remember why we got Amari Cooper is because they said, wide receiver by committee. We're going to roll into this season with Allen Hurns and whoever the hell
Cole
it was.
Beasley at wide receiver
Yeah,
one. That was
Exactly. And then what happened? We had to trade for Amari Cooper. So the Cowboys only admit that they're wrong whenever they trade for a piece and it's a low asset piece.
So
And
with
which
that
makes
being
me think,
said-
which
ahead.
is what I'm going to bring up is, are they moving on from Dak Prescott? I mean, they traded a fourth rounder for Trey Lance. Like, is this them admitting maybe we weren't right on this guy? Because every single time in the past, we've done the trades to fill a position of need, and I don't think Dak is. He played at an all-pro level, should have won the MVP, but I'm interested in your guys' opinions. What do you feel about this Trey Lance trade?
You just said it all. Are they moving on from Dak Prescott, and then you just said he played like an MVP?
Oh, I wouldn't move on from Dak Prescott. I
No.
would not. But I'm saying,
And I don't
do
think the
you
Cowboys
believe
are,
that
so
the
this- No,
okay? You don't think so?
I don't. It's weird. I don't think they are for me. And I want to kind of answer the question before we get into the Dak. When it comes to when we admitted we were wrong, so we reached out with draft picks and said, okay, got to fill this spot. Here's a draft pick. Give us a player.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay because when we grabbed Amari Cooper, he turned out to be life changing for Dak. When we grabbed Gilmore and Cooks, it turned out to be a blessing because it gave us a wide receiver core. And when Diggs went down, all of a sudden you're not stuck with Bland and Lewis as your one and two, or something like that. So those, I don't mind them admitting that they're wrong and then having to spend draft picks as long as you land me players like Amari Cooper, Brandon Cooks, Stephon Gilmore. I'll accept it, especially the value that we got Cooks and Gilmore at last year.
No, yeah, I don't have a
Is it-
problem. This isn't me saying that I have a problem with the trades itself.
Sure.
I don't. I just wonder if in the building secretly, the Cowboys really do feel like they're playing out this contract with Dak Prescott and then rolling with Trey Lance. Because for my money, I don't understand why you wouldn't already have him restructured. You're either going to pay for him this year or you're going to pay for him next year when he's literally the only good quarterback on the market next year and in a weak quarterback draft. Like, what? Why would you?
Yeah, when you have situations like us waiting and kind of sitting on our hands to get it done, and then apparently like the girl who's suing Dak, her lawyer comes on, 105.3 The Fan and says some things maybe that might have been, I haven't listened to it, but maybe that have been harmful to Dak or something like that, or to share her side of the story. And then people pointing out, oh, these are the way the Joneses negotiate contracts. And I would be hesitant on that only because when we tried to sign Dak the first time, we remember Dak bet on himself for a year. We offered him a really valuable contract, and he said, no, I'm good. I'll play this last year, and then you can pay me next year. So I would, if Dak ends up playing this last year, I don't think it'll be us making that decision. I think it'll be Dak. I think it'll be Dak just saying, look, I know what quality of quarterback I am. I could get hurt in week one, not play this whole season. Somebody's going to pay me next year even if I miss a whole season. We already saw it happen. He broke his leg for us. We still paid him.
But
So
for me, and I'll let you guys talk after this. For me, if Dak really wanted to get the contract done, or the Cowboys really wanted to get the contract done, they would get it done because it's in the best interest of the team. they could sign
Right.
other players with that restructure money. So for it not to be done at this point really, really has me thinking, are they actually thinking about letting this
letting it roll.
fluster out and then not even trading Dak for any assets? Somebody mentioned it was Troy. He said, I love Dak and I want him to be the QB, but for us, I feel like he will be in Minnesota next year. And like, if that was your plan to trade Dak, Minnesota's not a bad place to go play. They have a solid offensive line. They have two stud wide receivers. They got a good defense. So it's one of those things like Dak probably would be open to opening up that no trade clause and going to Minnesota, and you could get their first, second, third, and maybe another first next year or something like that. And you would at least get something for him instead of nothing for him if he does play out this contract, because you have a no tag clause on him as well. He can walk. He doesn't have to play for you after this year if he doesn't get restructured.
Does he not have a no trade clause? We're not allowed to trade him unless he seeks it, right?
No, well, we can tell him, hey, would you be interested in getting moved? And he
Right.
would
He would
he
have.
would
Right. He would
pick
have to
out the
agree to it. It
teams.
would kind of be
Yeah,
his decision.
exactly.
Right.
I do want to shout out my guy Stephen Mack really quick because he's always in here
See,
supporting me. Appreciate Stephen as well. But go ahead, Landry. I want you to get your 2 cents in here as well.
I mean, I hadn't even considered the idea that we would, that we would be moving on from Dak Prescott, whether he plays well. I mean, you would have to get an extension done, right? Because you're taking a $60 million cap hit. So if you eat that, then you are moving on. I hadn't even entertained that all the way. I need to know what Falcon was talking about. In the comment. I've seen that a few times. What exactly is I hate it here? Like, you guys don't want to be Cowboy fans?
I think he's just saying it's like it's the same. And I put out a tweet earlier today,
No,
and
because I've seen multiple people say it. Like, is it catching on?
it, it's one of those things. It's just I put out this tweet, and somebody said it was distasteful. I don't know because it wasn't malicious or anything, but I said,
Right.
Am I the abusive girlfriend or abused girlfriend that keeps on coming back to her abuser and says, no, he'll change. No, he loves me.
So,
And am I that like is that my mentality? Like I'm dead serious. Like, is that what I am as a fan? Because it doesn't change. It's the same thing over and over and over. And I think that's where a lot of us fans are. We do hate it here as far as free agency comes around. Like, we love when we're in the season, we're going to support our team. We love our
Oh
players, and
yeah.
we're
yeah.
there for it. Like, every single one of us have
Seeing the same
Cowboys
thing in free
merchandise
agency
behind
over and
us. You
over.
guys are doing Cowboys giveaways every single week and stuff like that. Like, we love this team. And you can say the same thing about an abused girlfriend. Like, she probably loves her boyfriend, but does the boyfriend love her back? That's the question, because it's the same repetitive stuff over and over and over. And it's starting to get like,
The boyfriend might.
I'm starting to realize, like, I'm not okay with this. Like, if this was
No.
an actual situation where it was a boyfriend girlfriend thing, I'd be like, leave him. What are you doing? You know?
Sure. No, I hear you. But you know what? Maybe the controlling, oppressive, overpowering, boyfriend does actually really, really love her. He's just set in his ways and won't freaking change. And that's what we're dealing with the Joneses. That Jimmy J's hair quoted: Jerry Jones will bet on Jerry Jones until the day he dies. And listen, we're gonna have to deal with that. That's just, and sometimes it sucks, and sometimes I've even been a proponent of Jerry, get out of the way, let football happen.
Yeah.
But
Real quick, I want to shout out Hartley's daily vlog. Popping in here, first time that they popped in here, they said like and sub. Definitely do hit that like button and subscribe. Set your notification bell, because I do a new show each and every single Tuesday with a new guest, and it's a fun time. We always bring up the chat and just talk Cowboys. So if you're a Cowboys fan, please do subscribe and leave the like, because I'm on my road to 500 subscribers. I'm getting there slowly, but I'm marching still. Go ahead with your point though, Jimmy.
oh no, that was kind of it. Just Jerry's gonna do Jerry things, and it's kind of hard to break down his cryptic. At one point we're going all in, and then all in doesn't necessarily mean the same thing for both of us. And then when I say all in, I mean we're not preparing for the future, but we haven't made any moves for now. So it's hard to break down. It's a roller coaster. It's a ride, and the fan, just kind of like we were talking, the fanship, the camaraderie, the hooking up pre-game, post-game. having a drink together, rooting for our team, whether it be ups or downs. Those are the things that we all love and die for. But a
I
lot of
got
us
I
care about this football and winning, man, and we want some changes.
Man, the chat is live tonight. They're angry. My guy
Well,
Stephen Mack says, "Yeah, we got some Stockholm syndrome. We feel five in love with our captor and abuser." Um, yeah, I completely agree. This is great by Cuts by Jones. Jerry is on his yacht, and he does not care, says Troy. Like my dad always said about my mom, I've been with her this long, I might as well die with her, says Steven. So, yeah, I'm in that boat too, Steven. All in means all the money in your pockets goes to my pockets all in, says Troy. And then I legit
good
was
point.
talking to Terrence Parsons, Falcon says, and he told him to get Micah the hell out of Dallas because the front office is the problem. The coaches and players contribute, yes, but the front office is to blame the most. I was watching Jeff Kavanaugh's show today, and he was talking about the Dak deal should have got done 2 years ago. The CD deal should have got done last year, and the Micah
Last
deal
year,
should
yeah.
have got done right now. And we sit on our hands and we wait for these things to happen. And all the smart organizations are always re-signing their guys before they ever hit the free agency market. Now, obviously, you can look at like Baltimore. They had Justin Matabike, they had Patrick Queen, but both of those guys had career years on their contract year. So it wasn't a thing where they've been good like CeeDee Lamb for year after year, where he's continually up and up and up and up. And Dak Prescott up and up and up and up. Obviously, the last year with the interceptions, he had a broken thumb. Like, come on, you have all of the opportunity to, and let me get Landry back in here. You had all of the opportunity to re-sign him beforehand. I want to shout out Got Mexican real quick. First time I've ever seen him in the chat as well. We're in too deep already. Completely agree. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe button. Set the notifications as well, man. I'm glad to have you here. Landry, you want to jump in here to this convo?
Yeah, I got Mexicans terrible at Call of Duty. That's all I know.
Ouch.
Um, I'm sitting backstage, I guess, for a second. Having some internet problems listening to y'all talk about this. Yeah, apparently, yeah, it seems like everybody in the chat, like you said, is pretty lit up and in agreement with it. I understand what you guys are saying. I just don't know. I just don't know what my options are. How much, like, I used to put that kind of energy into it when I was younger, and at some point I realized that those things were out of my control. All I can do, look, I used to seriously want to affect the outcome on the field,
No.
and I can't do that as a fan. And coach was describing some of the things that you can enjoy as a fan. It's just, what are y'all gonna like? Is there another team? Are you gonna pick another NFL team? Because I'm not capable of that. Right?
No,
30
Can't
years,
do
I don't
that.
have that in me. And like someone was saying,
we can't do that.
it's
No.
so yeah, we
And
can
that's what
be upset, I guess, about decisions, but then again, what I get to thinking about is we're living in this world where so many of us, we just want to dominate and win 5 more Super Bowls or something. How many fan bases have it much better though? Like we're our front office is trying to stay competitive, and for the most part, they do. I bet we've won the most NFC East, titles in the past 10 years. I don't know what the numbers are exactly,
yeah.
but I bet we have. Feels like
Yeah.
feels like we've won 5.
Well,
So
my thing, real quick, my thing is in a relationship, and I know that Jerry Jones probably doesn't think this is a two-way street by any
Of
means,
course
but
not.
in a
It
relationship,
doesn't.
like you want to be able to put out the problems on the table and be like, yo, this isn't okay. Like, I'm going to stay loyal to you. I love you. Like, you're my team, but this is not okay, dude. And uh, like, how long can we go being happy about another man's, wins? Like, who cares the Cowboys are the most valuable franchise? Who cares that we have won 5 Super Bowls 30 years ago? Who cares about this and that and that? If you're not winning when it matters, and you're not only not winning, but you're not putting in the 100% effort to win. Like that's where the disconnect is, because there's so many more people that are passionate about this fan base than I believe any other fan base, and we just want to see us win at the end of the day. And it's disheartening, man. Over and over and over, we see this in the negligence in free agency.
So somewhere around week 10, 11, 12 last season, did you think we could win the Super Bowl?
I honestly had serious questions with the
Did
Cowboys.
you?
To win it,
So
I
you
thought
didn't?
we were getting. I will say I thought we were getting to the NFC Championship game, guaranteed. I did not probably think we were going to win it, but for me,
Fair
I
enough.
was
Fair
happy
enough.
about
But
that.
and that would have been enough for most people, right? And in the
Yeah,
middle, towards the end of last season, you thought we were capable of getting there. And the reason is we were. So I'm pretty sure James probably did too. And the rest of the front office. And Will McClay, like I believe they're trying to put the team together every single year that can win the Super Bowl. And because they don't do it in the way that you or somebody else would, I'm not here to gripe at him about that.
And
But,
I think I can,
yeah,
I think I can bring a little bit of all of that kind of together. So it's like
I understand about the
Landry
Prescott
kind
situation though. Yeah, it's hard to do
of
anything without that.
something that you said, stood out. How
That's
many
cool,
fan
man.
bases have it better? Not many at all. And then EJ, you were saying, we're sick of not winning when it matters and winning now. And so I
yeah,
think kind of the middle ground of that is a really tough place to live. It's not a horrible place to live as a fan, but I think the reason you see the anger and the disconnect at the front office is because it feels like when you win 12 games, when you're like, because like we said, if we made it to the NFC Championship game last year and we lost to San Francisco,
yeah,
then San Francisco, at that point, we'd have all been okay with that. And we would have just said, you know what? San Francisco's got our number. They're one of the best two teams in football. It's them and the Chiefs. They deserve to be in the Super Bowl against each other. We lost to them. They beat us again. They've got our number. We're still one of the best four teams, right? Chiefs, Ravens, Niners, Cowboys. That's
yeah,
what it was supposed to be. That's what we all felt. A lot of us felt, just like you said, we can make it to the conference championship game. Can we beat the Niners? We all had doubts. For me, Landry, to kind of answer your question around week 11, 12, I felt we could win the Super Bowl if we played our football and got out ahead of you and front ran on you. And we started front running on you because we already knew the deficiencies in being able to run the ball consistently and stop the run consistently.
yep.
So we knew if we couldn't play our brand of football
Which,
that we
but
had created that season,
Which
we had no
those
chance.
are playoff requirements. You look
No,
at
for
every
sure.
single other team that was in the top four. Every single one of them could run it very, very well, and most of
hmm
them, I'd say three of the four teams, could stop the run extremely well.
And so
well,
that's
I'm
where I
glad we're
was
getting
heading
into
with. I
running
think
back.
everybody being upset at the front office is we know what the deficiencies are. We know how we can make this. We all see it. They know they see it. We need to run the ball better and stop the run better. For number one and two. That's what got us beat in the games we lost in. Period.
Yeah,
We know
yeah.
that.
Sure.
If it was a passing game, we're gonna smoke you. Our pass defense and our pass offense is too good.
Lights out. Yeah.
I do want to answer
So
this question by official Manny B real quick. Would it make sense to bring back Zeke on a 1 year minimum deal since they still owe him $6 million in dead money? Rico Dowdle was better than Zeke last year. Point blank
There
period.
you.
I wouldn't bring back Zeke, but they are tied to people that have played in the jersey before, so who knows?
it makes
I
it
would
makes
be
sense if you're in round 5 and you still don't have a running back and you're in round 5 of the draft, then bringing it
yeah.
back maybe makes sense to go 1-2 with
No,
No, that
Dowdle. But
you
that
have
type of
an
move would upset
excellent
me. Yeah.
point because there's I always say this, there's three waves of free agency. First wave is the really big names that are going to get their money. Second wave is the guys that they fill the holes before the draft, and then the third wave comes after the draft when
hmm
the teams look at their team. Oh, we didn't get this guy in the draft. We got to
yeah,
pick up this guy,
you got to
and
fill
that's
it.
what happens. Zeke is one of those third wave guys, in my opinion. So, I wouldn't do it, but that's beside the point. I do want to bring up Falcon's comment. It has nothing to do with the way that I would do it, treating our players how they do in regards to contracts, waiting and putting yourself in cap hell because they are inept with waiting time again. It just,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
I
that would be the
agree.
number one thing, right? Is I don't
No,
understand, like I said, because it seems like other teams get it done. We sit on extensions and sit on our guys that we know we want to sign, and that's the one thing that I can't explain.
Yeah. Some guys in the chat, Steven and Troy are both saying, yeah, Benson, Trey Benson, Trey Benson from FSU in the draft. And then Braylon Allen is another name that was mentioned there. I don't even have to see Falcon comment it, but I already know he's going to bring up Blake Corum. No, but should we go ahead and transition into this kind of mock draft thing and talk about these guys, or do you kind have you not got your points all the way across with the
Well,
free
no,
agency?
I was actually fixing to ask with Stephen Mack bringing up Braylon Allen and Trey Benson. I was going to ask you, EJ, when it comes to running back, if we end up second, third, or fourth round trying to snag a starting running back for this year, who's your guy?
I honest to God think that Audric Estime is going to last to the 5th round because of his 40 time, and we'll see what he runs at his pro day. But it was like a 4.740. His other
Okay.
testing numbers were extremely good. And what I saw on tape was a patient runner, a guy that can bounce it outside, run it in between the tackles, incredible balance, plays behind his pads, has that play strength, can block in the pass game. As far as big runs go, what's considered a big run, 10 plus yards. He has, I think, the third most in the nation. Now, he's not going to be a home run hitter, but he is a guy that really reminds me of DeMarco Murray, just his play style,
Okay.
and he kind of keeps that hand up a little bit to ward off defenders and hit him with the stiff arm, stuff like that. So I really like Audric Estime. He's one of my pet cats. If you want a hot take right now, and you can pull it up later, I honestly do believe that the Cowboys are going to draft Jordan Brooks in the 2nd round of the draft.
Is it Jordan or Jonathan Brooks?
Or Jonathan, sorry, Jonathan
Yeah.
Brooks. Jordan Brooks is a guy I know from high school, so I got it mixed up. No, Jonathan Brooks in the 2nd round of the draft is I see the writing on the wall. You got to pay attention to those formal visits. If they bring him in for a 30 visit, which is going to be incredibly important to see, I really do believe you can connect the dots a lot with those 30 visits that they bring in. So
Sure.
um,
Yeah. And no, I think some mock
stay
drafts
tuned
might
for
be
that.
fun because, like you said, if you end up going second round for Jonathan Brooks or even whoever you think your top running back is on the board, which I think we did the surgery. Brooks is obviously high on the list of running backs, as long as he's going to be 100% healthy. Um, so if you spend a second, I feel like then you have to go linebacker in one, and then maybe spend your third and fourth on offensive lineman if you don't get to bring Tyron back at that point, because I just don't know if after the first and second you're finding the quality of linebacker that we need. Again, if we haven't already added what we think is quality in free agency or trade market.
Yeah,
So
got to shout out my guy Kai for hitting up in the chat. Said he's going to catch the earlier half, but he's going to watch live with us right now. So I got to shout him out. No, I've mentioned it time and time again. This running back class doesn't have a Jameer Gibbs, doesn't have a Bijan Robinson at the top, but in the middle rounds, it's a solid running back class. You
yeah,
talk about a Braylon Allen, a Trey Benson, Jonathan Brooks, Audric Estime, Will Shipley, Frank Gore Jr. There's an abundance of guys. Bucky Irving's one of my pet cats. I really
That's
like
my
him.
mhm,
Um,
a lot,
have
but
you guys? I don't
my
know
guy.
how much film you guys dive into, but is there a guy that you guys have pet cat wise for running backs in this up and coming draft?
no, we're both on Bucky Irving. I swear that's
Yeah,
Bucky.
I,
and a lot of
I think
and
in
a
the
lot of what you just described was really nice too. But,
Yeah, let me just read my scouting report on Bucky Irving since you guys like him a lot, and I I love him too. Honestly, I really do. And I said electric, toughness, ankle breaker. Those are a few words that I would come to mind when watching Irving. Does a nice job bouncing runs outside to get extra yardage, great vision and patience out of the backfield, good situational awareness at the position, meets contact low behind his pads, does a nice job to keep his feet going to gain extra yardage, consistently finds
lower
cutback lanes,
climbing.
exhibiting burst after his plant to exploit over pursuit from linebackers, nice wiggle, shimmy steps to keep the defense guessing, does have jukes, spin moves, stiff arms, constantly breaks tackles and makes players miss in the open field as a pass catcher, exhibits lateral quickness, lower body strength, balance, making him difficult to bring down if you're slightly bigger and or the same size, plays bigger than his size, can hold up inside the tackles at the next level. 3 years of production at Oregon. And obviously he is terrible at pass pro. That's his one knock for me. But all the other stuff, flying colors for Bucky Irving. I would love him. You just have to pair him with that combo back that can really be your pass protector. Did you
Yeah.
kind of see the same thing from him, or?
Yeah, I mean, oh, yeah, a lot of what you described was perfect. And my biggest thing is twice you mentioned the yards after contact, right? He was at the top or near the top of the nation in
Yep,
yards after contact. So, and you mentioned all the reasons, right? Low to the ground, leverage,
keeps
ankle
the feet
and
breaker,
moving.
looking
all the
Yep,
all the different all the moves, everything. And I know Coach is trying to get back in here because he got a lot to
Yeah.
say about it.
Am I good now? Mic check.
I can hear I can hear you.
We can hear you, but your cam is a little bit frozen. So, but go
Okay. If
ahead.
it keeps happening, I'll reset. Let me know
Okay,
if it
go ahead.
catches up. But I'll just get this point out. When the yards after contact, it doesn't just mean like, oh, he broke a tackle and went for 5 extra yards. The yards after contact means no matter how he got touched or where he got touched, he proceeded to gain.
Meaningful yards. Are you still there?
Yeah.
I think we lost
No,
him.
we can't hear you now. What he's trying to say is something to the tune of 5 or more yards. Every
No,
time
yeah,
he's
he
saying it.
absolutely electric from him as far as just staying up. Yards after contact, like Jimmy mentioned, is a big thing with Bucky Irving. Now, does that translate instantly to the pros? It didn't for CeeDee Lamb. He was a smaller, kind of slender guy coming out of college. Will it for Bucky Irving because in my opinion, I just his frame kind of looks filled out completely right now. So that's
Yeah.
one of the concerns I had on him. But other than that, man, other than that, the frame is probably mostly filled out, and the pass pro, he's a great prospect.
Yeah.
So I like him a
Where are
lot.
you looking at a player like him, right? The third round?
Third
Fourth
round,
round?
third round is
Mm-hmm.
my sweet spot. I want to steer away from a second round pick on a running back.
Yeah.
Even though I said that Brooks was likely to go second round for the Cowboys, I think that realistically, third round's a sweet spot. Fourth and fifth is in case of emergency kind of a deal. So, but like I said, man, there's a lot of these running backs to me are so close in my stack. It is what it is.
Good
My
news
guy
if you're
Falcon
looking for a
saying,
running back then, yeah.
yeah, my guy Falcon always, highlighting uh, my non-talk about Blake Corum. So funny, but I also got to shout out my guy Jeff Hollis for jumping in here as well. Friend of the shows.
What's up,
That
Jeff?
comes in here every once in a while. So leave a like. Anyways, we'll get back into it. Jimmy still his camera doesn't look to be up, so we'll just roll without him. Just go ahead and talk about if there's any other pet cats that you have in the draft, regardless of position, that you would like to see in a Cowboys uniform.
It's Devondre Sweat. I live real near Huntsville. That's where he went to play high school. Boy, I saw him play his junior and senior year out in Texas, where he's from. So I was a half a mile from the stadium. I used to get off work and go catch a game every now and then. They were, pushing for state semifinals at the time. They had a really good team. He's a dog. Seeing it in
No,
person,
yeah, Tavondre Sweat is a guy I really really like. Second round, man, it's so like it feels weird to say like I have a second round grade on him. Don't get me wrong. My thing is, do you want to invest in a first round pick last year in the defensive tackle position just to go back on the second round pick of the next year's draft?
Mhm.
If he lasted a third round, though, sign me up, man, because he is such an interesting player. The frame,
Or
the
the late
height,
second.
the
The late second,
yeah,
and you want to draft up at that moment because who's okay? Because there's our sweet spot. That's what we'll pay for him. Whatever, either
yeah,
way. Hey, like I said, I can't get into all that. I just want to, it's the same as 2016. I just wanted this not a wrong year, but I just wanted Des Bryant on the team at the time.
oh yeah,
Um,
yeah,
long before, as soon as it was pick 11, it's that type of deal. Just one way or another, it'd be cool if he ended up on the team.
absolutely. My guy Falcon saying
I
we
got some other
need
ones too. I got some others
to
too.
just
Yeah,
use
Jimmy's
Mozzie
back.
the right way. But go ahead,
That may be true.
Jimmy. Can I hear you?
Yeah, mic check. Mic check. You got audio?
Yeah, go
Yeah, you're
ahead.
all good.
Is
You're
there
all good.
is there any pet cat that you have in this draft outside of running back that you would like to see with a star on their helmet?
Peyton Wilson. I think
I
he's
knew
Dog.
I think he's LVE times
it.
three. So I think he gives us exactly what we need in the middle of that linebacker core to snuff out runs. Um, if we're going to spend as high as a one or two, I think if we're going to spend our one, I hope Edgar Cooper's there. If we're going to go for linebacker, those are obviously two top dogs. But pet cat for me is definitely Peyton Wilson. Just the way he plays, the animosity, the fact that he's one of those guys who I want not only to hit someone, I want a running back to hit me too. Like, what do you got? Like, let's hit each other out here today. So
Yeah.
I like that.
Dog.
What I really love about Peyton Wilson is he has such a high motor and a will to want to be better each and every single down. You're not going to see him pouting with his head down. He's a true leader out there. Hustles to the ball. He's a guy that wraps up tackles sideline to sideline, can come down and hit you, can thump you, but also sneakily good in zone coverage, and even man coverage. He can hold his own. So I really did like Peyton Wilson. I'm afraid that his combine workout kind of pushed him up a
Mm-hmm.
little bit into
Mm-hmm.
that first round territory, but we'll
That's a great
see.
point.
If you guys want to, we can just jump over here into the PFF mock draft simulator, and we can talk about the prospects as they kind of roll down, if that's good.
Let's do it.
Seems perfect.
So let's go ahead and pull this up. And if you guys are watching, please go ahead and leave a like if you're not yet. Peyton Wilson right there before us. So yeah, like I said, he's getting that first round hype now. But let's check out the players that we have here. Jaden Daniels here. That's absolutely crazy. I don't even know how that happened. But if Jaden Daniels was here, I actually might draft him. But and JJ McCarthy here as well. But let's just talk about these tackles. So JC Latham is here. Graham Barton. We got Tyler Guyton. Zach Frazier is a center. Jordan Morgan down here a little bit. And that's about the extent of offensive line play. Where do you guys want to go? And chat also, if you're in the chat, please do put your input in there as well, because I will pull it up on the screen and we'll definitely factor it into our picks right here. Where are you
For
guys kind of leaning right here?
for me, what we're looking at is a no brainer, Graham Barton, because you're blessed to have a guy like Tyler Smith, right? And your flexibility with him. Graham Barton also gives you some flexibility and versatility along the line. So for me, that's if that's what the board looks like, and we're picking at 24, not moving, trading back any of that, I'm grabbing Graham Barton right there.
Mm. Okay. And Landry, do you have somebody that's sticking out to you?
No, not in particular. This is, maybe I would be looking at a trade back situation right there. If anything,
Yeah.
What Coach said is pretty reasonable. It's the type of position that just falls off so quickly. If you're trying to fill it now, it's
And
really
when
not available too far past the second round unless you get lucky.
and man,
Yeah.
when we're talking about that trade back, this is really the year, especially if we continue to, if we haven't done a lot free agency or trade wise, come draft time. This is really the draft where if you're really trying to fill a lot of holes, you can trade back, pick up the extra third, fourth, maybe even fifth or sixth to go with a third and fourth, depending on who's trying to come up and what they're how many spaces they're moving. But you can trade back, and then like you said, there's so many prospects at our needs in particular. If you traded back and ended up with some extra picks, you could do yourself some good, I feel like.
We have some
Stephen
trade offers,
wants.
and we'll look at that over here in just a second. Stephen Mack
Okay.
says he would like Jordan Morgan. That's a trade back target for us right there. And I really do
Right.
like Jordan Morgan because he is a true left tackle. He has that nuance to his game and understanding. Very good in pass pro. Needs to get a little bit better in the run blocking department, but he is a clean prospect, and you can't go wrong with him, in my opinion. JC Latham is the name that stands out to me because I think that he is either a very very good tackle in the league, or at worst a extremely good guard, like an all pro kind of a guard. So Tyler Smith kind of situation for him.
Right.
um
So let
I
me get your take on this, EJ, and then chat too if anybody wants to chime in and kind of give their thoughts on what they would do. When you have a guy like Tyler Smith, when you're in this draft, are you looking to okay, Tyler Smith is so all world at left guard. I don't care if is an all pro left tackle. I want that all world left guard. I'm trying to draft a pure tackle. Or because what you can do with Tyler, are you saying I would rather take the best guard because I don't think that I can get a tackle that can even be as good of a tackle as Tyler. That's the thing, right? Like you're not going to get a guard that plays guard as well as he does. I don't. You can hardly find those in the NFL right now. So
yeah
when you're talking about left tackle, we know he can be pretty much, Pro Bowl, All Pro caliber. Do that would kind of make me lean toward draft more of a natural guard. And I was going wanted to get your take. Where would you do that in the chat as well?
yeah, I would honestly, the only scenario I see Tyler Smith kicking out there to tackle is if you somehow don't end up with a tackle in the first 3 rounds. um I say that because I don't think that Tyler Bass or Brock Hoffman can play tackle.
Hoffman. Right.
So you're probably shifting Bass in there at left guard, Hoffman there at center, and that's what you're going to roll with. The wild card
Right.
is Asim Richard, 5th-round pick out of UNC last year, has a lot of starts under at left tackle for UNC, and he's a guy that needs to get more physical, add play weight, add an anchor a little bit, but not bad as far as the nuances, hand tech, and all that stuff, but needs to get better realistically in order for you to feel good about putting him on the field.
Right. So you're
From
going with the
my
more
under
of let the draft kind of tell you what to do with Tyler rather than let Tyler tell you what to do with the
Absolutely,
draft. Yeah.
absolutely, and,
Okay.
and and also the
Yeah,
scouts
you
after we
basically yeah.
drafted Asim Richards said that he translated to guard is what they figured for him. So go ahead, Landry.
No, perfect. I'm just agreeing with you.
Okay,
Okay.
Well,
let's check
we know
out these.
McCarthy too. We've seen him.
Go
He
ahead.
has a little bit of track record of drafting tackles and moving them to guard. He did it in Green Bay as well. And so, and then he did it with Tyler Smith as well. So we may see something like that now. Because and it seems to be even that just seems to transition a lot more, right? It's easier to move a tackle to guard than it is to move a guard to tackle. Obviously,
All right,
way
hey,
tougher position to play.
they say that we can finesse the Buffalo Bills for 128 and 134 if we drop back 4 spots. Are we going to do that?
Still
The
gonna
chat
see.
is saying that this is a trade back spot for us, in their opinion.
See?
So it's the
Well,
Bills
there you
to
go.
28.
So we're there.
Now do we
Yeah.
do how much time do we have on the clock? Can we look at the next four top players and see what we might be losing and not be able to get if we move for?
Yeah. So the of course the positions of need probably, and the Cardinals are probably going to take Jaden Daniels. We can assume that,
Mm-hmm.
and or the Tampa Bay Bucks. So both of those guys are in play for Jaden Daniels. Um, the Bills are probably going to come up for a wide receiver. Um, the Packers are probably going to draft Tyler Nubin. In my opinion, they need secondary help, and so I feel good about having probably J.C. Latham on our board, probably Tyler Guyton.
Right.
Um,
Both players.
I feel
And
good
that's
about that.
two. No, that's
If
great.
it,
Go.
yeah, yeah, we'll
Okay,
trade
so
back
we're going to
because
do
that's
that.
I mean
I would do
makes too
that.
much sense. We need a lot. We need a lot. We need
Okay,
players. We
let's do
need
it.
bodies
That's
as of right now. If we're talking as far as the moves we've made so far in draft and trade and free agency. If
Wow. Well, hey, I was completely wrong. Graham Barton goes off to the Bills, Tyler Guyton to the Packers, and J.C. Latham to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now,
we just lost all our
worst
linemen.
case scenario.
worst case scenario, sure. However, I'm not opposed to maybe dropping back again because we lost all of those people. Just because like Zach Frazier, hey, I'm fine with Zach Frazier.
He'll make it
But
out of
the
the first round. Yeah.
Jordan Morgan is up there for me
Mm.
as well. I'd feel comfortable with him. Um, this draft is a little bit scuttled because I don't see Jaden Daniels here. I honestly think Bo Nix probably goes before the Cowboys even pick. So we'll see. But I'm interested in maybe dropping back even again. Of course, you have to
Considering
drop out
what
of
just
the first
happened
round.
and that right, considering we were looking to land one of those tackles after moving back, but now they're gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm down for Frazier right here in this spot. What do you guys think? And Falcons also saying Frazier here.
No, we take it too.
Another
What
guy
are
to
our
look
offers?
at. They were all to drop out of the first round completely, to all
Out
the way
of
to
okay,
38.
so 38 is our closest.
So
Yeah, that's too many spots.
Kool-Aid
Yeah,
McKinstry is up here
it's just
too.
drafting it there. Yeah.
Yep, you're right.
So I personally think let's go ahead and go with Zach Frazier here. Feel good
Enough.
about
Okay.
that?
Sure.
Yep.
All right, Zach Frazier, welcome to the team, buddy. And we are back up on the clock. We've got some receivers. Keon Coleman. I'm on record to saying I don't love Keon Coleman. I'd let somebody else take him. Kyrie Jackson, wide receiver that transferred from Alabama to Oregon, solid player. Javon Bullard, probably the best safety after Tyler Nubin. Rilka Aurora, haven't watched, so I'm not super sure. Jonathan Brooks is up here, like we mentioned. Kieran Amagaji, a guy that I watched. Obviously, he's playing against lesser talent there at Yale, but solid tackle that you feel good about. Xavier Leggett absolute speedster. Some people kind of comp him to a DK Metcalf. Edrin Cooper, absolute missile. Plays downhill, sideline to
No, no,
sideline. Can give you some in the situational pass rushing department.
this is the late second
Christian,
round.
yeah,
Yeah,
this is second round.
Edrin Cooper's
I take
looking
Edgerrin Cooper
enticing
right
right
now.
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
because you know
Wow.
he's gone. Go ahead, Landry.
This-
What are you saying?
No, right there. No, yeah, I'm just saying that I would take Edgerrin Cooper. It's the late second round already. I would have taken him in the mid second.
50 something. There's no trade offers at this point.
There is. There is. Let's check them out. So we can drop down to pick 76 with the Broncos or 85.
That's a lot.
76 is into the third round, so we're probably missing out on a player that we really like here. I think everybody's on board for Edgerrin Cooper. As far as the chat goes, they're saying Cooper is there, question mark, Cooper or
See?
Colson. I'm going Cooper.
Yeah.
I like Cooper a lot better than I like Junior Colson.
Got to. There's too many running backs to be had in the third round, and not enough linebackers to be had
Exactly.
after this
That's
pick.
it.
So Edrin
That's
Cooper
it.
has to be the pick.
Okay, let's go. Let's go with Edgerrin Cooper then, and we're locking in the pick.
We got two
And
third
we're
round
going
picks,
down.
two
So
fourth
hey,
round
let's
picks.
check out who went off the board.
Right.
Devondre Sweat went right there.
Yeah.
Junior Colson, Kieran Almagaji, Xavier Worthy to the Chiefs at the end of the second round is dangerous. Don't let that happen on draft night. Xavier
Please.
Leggett goes up there. We got the running backs. Jalen Wright, absolute home run hitter. Blake Corum right here, which is a fan favorite of the chat, and specifically Falcon. Bucky Irving, which we talked about. I have never drafted Bucky Irving in a draft, so I'd be open to that. Kalen Bullock, another safety that's rangy, a big guy from what I remember.
I feel like we have to. It's a position of need. It's what we were talking about 10 minutes ago. It's exactly where we were talking about, in the late third
So
round in terms of value.
Yeah,
I do Bucky Irving.
Yeah, and so I was going to ask, because where we're sitting at now, I feel like the players that are left, if there are any trade offers, I feel like we've already got an extra third. I feel like we're not going to have to move far. What are the trade offers that we're looking at?
There, we can drop down to 99, which is 12 picks back, or 107.
99, 12
Or
picks.
I mean, we can try to put together. We can also try to put together a different trade. So, the Packers have 2 picks up and coming. They're right behind us. So, would they want to maybe get 2 back-to-back picks? Who knows? But do they have the capital to do that? This pick is something I would eye, because Washington, you could probably fleece them for 100 and 102 to drop back to those spots. So 13 spots, and you could pick up extra picks that would help us a lot. And I feel like we'd have plenty of running backs still left there.
13.
I feel like Bucky would even be left.
Yeah. If not, it'll be Corum, and we can take him. Falcon will be happy. So there you go.
Let's try this. Let's offer it and see what they say. So they're saying nope.
Nope.
Can't do it. Let's see if there's another team down here that has double picks where we can kind of get them on a little bit of a fleece. We have, that's too close probably.
If you took their 100 and 102,
Cardinals,
but then gave
maybe?
them 174, would they take that with 87?
102, and then you gave them what?
Take 100 and 102 from them and throw in 174 to go with the 87.
Okay, we'll try it. They said negative, Commander.
Okay.
They said pull up a. All right, I'm gonna play with my guy Falcon here, and I'm gonna pull up PFF.
Yeah,
board
maybe
right
we
here.
owe it to chat to just draft Blake Corum here. Tell us, chat. Should we even consider this trade, or just flood the chat with Corum? Blake, let us know.
Let's check out player grades right here from my guy. Halfbacks. Let's do. Okay, so we have Bucky Irving. Oh, nope, that's Jordan James. Never mind. Bucky Irving right here. Now let's find Blake Corum. Blake Corum. Right here, 60. So he's at 84. So, I wonder if is there a way? I'm not too familiar with. Let me get Landry back in here. Sorry. I'm not so sure if there's a way to.
No, I'm
So here's Bucky Irving, and let me pop this up on the screen. Here's Bucky Irving's grades. So he graded out as a 79.3 in 2021. Was a 10th overall back in 2022, 27th in 2023. Offensive grade total 88.2, run grade 91.8, receiving grade 74.9. Now here's the caveat for Bucky Irving. He would be so much higher if not for this grade right here, which is pass blocking. He's terrible, absolutely terrible. Now my guy Blake Corum is about double the blocker is what they're saying for him. Not nearly as good in the receiving game. 83.1 as far as the run grade. Let me see. And
Well,
versus a
and one thing that doesn't really scare
91.8.
me about Bucky Irving's non-pass blocking is we kind of because remember that was a little bit of talk going into last year. We lost Zeke. Tony Pollard can't pass block like that, but we all spoke about McCarthy's scheme and how it kind of calls for a little less of the running back to have to really stand in there and take one. Right? It's not you don't see it's a little quicker stuff. Um, Especially with the running back out of the backfield and just looking for the release valves. So I wouldn't be hesitant to draft a running back based on, well, he can't pass block. We're not going to really ask our running backs to do it much. However, granted, when Tony was asked to do it last year, he did a good job. So
All right. My guy Landry's just popping in and out.
I got it. Yeah, I
Um,
got it now.
I'm gonna offer this pick
there we
to
go.
Arizona to see if they'd be interested in it. Okay, I think we're just sticking and picking, guys.
Hmm.
Sticking and picking. What does Chat say? I know they're wanting Blake Corum, right?
Need a pass blocking HB with the rookie alignment we're gonna have.
Yeah, that's
Says
not a
got
horrible
Mexican.
take.
And Falcon says, yeah, that's why I don't draft him is because he's horrible at blocking.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
I'm okay with drafting Blake Corum.
let's go.
If you guys are, let's go
So
ahead and
No,
run it.
that's good input from the chat.
All right, and we're back up. I don't believe the Cowboys actually have this pick in real life. Pick one. Oh no, I guess we do. Okay, 128. Okay, whatever. Anyways, 128. We got this from Buffalo, supposedly. Malik Washington is a wide receiver I really like. Little guy, but he's yoked up, fearless across the middle, has great contact balance, will break tackles for you. Feel good about him. McKinley Jackson's a big defensive tackle in the middle, gives you a little bit of juice, and he would fill a need on this team.
Mm.
Jordan Travis, developmental quarterback. You probably have that in Trey Lance, so I doubt that they do that. Cedric Gray,
Right.
A good linebacker, not great. I'm glad that PFF finally got him in the kind of right territory for me. He is what he is. Christian Boyd, I've heard some things about, not super familiar with him.
Can we go back in time now that we can trade down and still end up with Braylon Allen here?
DT, the biggest position in need left on my board at this point.
Yeah. No, I'm okay with the DT, honestly. If you guys feel good with that.
It's definitely the biggest need I got left.
Yeah, let me see the top of the board one more time. For me, I think.
What positions do we feel like we need? Let's put on offensive tackle because we haven't got one yet. Let's put on defensive interior edge rushers as well. I think is kind of a sneaky need. We could double dip on linebacker. And then
Biggest needs would definitely be defensive tackle and another offensive lineman. I feel like defensive tackle would overweigh it just a little bit, because we did draft our center, and we know how flexible Tyler Smith is. He's probably our left tackle right now at this point with this draft and our current roster. Hoffman or Bass is our left guard. So
let's go ahead and just go with the big DT. Do you guys feel that?
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Biggest need.
Okay, let's run it with that and see. Malik
so we just
Washington.
paired up teammates.
Dude, Malik Washington is my pro comp for Malik Washington is Zay Flowers, so it's funny that he went to Baltimore. Not the same player, obviously, because Zay Flowers crazy foot quickness and stuff like that, but he reminded me a lot of him. Let's check out what's the position that's sneaky. You guys like DN cornerback possibly?
I don't. I don't know, but I know Edgerrin Cooper just.
Diaz might be sneaky, but double dipping on linebacker also, I feel like is something I would be into.
Cedric Gray is still here. Liked him, didn't love him on film. Personally, Caitlin King, I'm completely out on. Some people last year thought that this guy was going to be a first-round pick. He not only got torched all season long, but he also tested incredibly bad at the combine too. So I'm out
Maybe
on
with the
him.
maybe with the loss of Dorrance Armstrong, I'm maybe looking at Xavier Thomas here. I do like him out of Clemson.
Okay,
What
I
would
have
be our
no
biggest need
idea
at this
about him.
point?
So solid grades though, it looks like, and let's see, plays better against lesser talent. It appears so. Um,
I bet that's how most people do.
yeah.
Play better.
What
Hey,
was the comment on the soccer match we were
some
watching that
people,
time? Is it the team without the ball seems not very threatening? Well, that's because they
you'd
don't
be
have the ball.
surprised. I mean, like Tez Walker is like complete opposite. Like he plays really good against like the Georgias, the Alabamas, and stuff, and then he has mediocre grades against some other teams. So,
Right.
Oh,
but yeah, I think that the Jalen Ford here, you know, he, Texas guy right there, you can pair him back up with Overshawn. Um, Darius Masu, I heard some good things about. Curtis Jacobs is a linebacker I personally really liked. I thought he had some good diagnosis skills and played downhill, can carry coverage as well, and he's tested out pretty decently as well. Zinter is there. If he didn't get hurt, he's legit. Would have been an early day two, possibly late day one guy, is what he says.
So far, so we've got our center. We've drafted a running back who's our starting running back now. We've paired up a couple teammates from A&M to help us stop the run. So at this point, we may just be looking at like BPA, right? Like who's the top talent we can take here as far as we're not really trying to fill necessarily needs. You could double down
Mm.
on linebacker, like you said. Um,
This
and at
kid,
this point in the draft, I'm looking at for kids from who's left on the board from Alabama, Georgia, some of these schools.
okay. I'm fine with really any of these edges that are here. Grayson Murphy.
Yeah,
Um, I think that this guy looks like the best as far as PFF ratings go, but that doesn't mean a whole lot. Obviously, it's different
sure.
systems, different things asked of players. Let me go ahead and get Landry back in here real quick.
Yeah. If Chad's not opposed to it, I really like Xavier Thomas here. That would be my pick. If this scenario at this
Okay.
spot.
We also have a trade scenario possibly dropping down. Oh, that's too far. Yeah. I say we just go ahead with it. If you feel good about it, Landry, we're gonna go ahead and draft. Where's the
Dorrance
heck?
Armstrong's replacement.
yeah, Xavier. Yeah, I hear you.
This kid's so fast though. Anyways though, Christian Boyd. Where did he go? He must be down here. Oh, right here. Okay. All right. Welcome to the team. Wait, hold up. Oh, I thought I saw a name I liked. Okay. Welcome to the team, Xavier Thomas. And Christian Boyd goes right off the board right after him. Okay. And Dylan Johnson. I think that his injury knocked him down a little bit. This kid I've heard a little bit about. Pass blocking grade, very, very good. Run blocking grade, mediocre. Zone grade, gap grade, true pass sets. Like he's a developmental guy that we can get in there at tackle if you guys are interested in him. Luke McCaffrey, just so we have a little bit of brother rivalry whenever we go play CMC.
Or bloodline, if that's the case.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing. Are we looking at corner at all based on the fact that Gilmore's not necessarily on the team? Because when you're talking about after this pick, you're not going to find very many corners you want to mess with.
Yeah, so for corners for me, I don't love any of these guys down here.
Right.
I mean, we're in the 5th round, obviously, but
you don't have to fill every single need in the draft. You just got to
exactly.
Right.
That's what I was talking about.
Make some moves.
BPA feels really good here, and I would shoot for this kid, Jalen Sundle, because I've heard a little bit about him. I haven't watched him necessarily or scouted him, But not only that, but I pull up his grades consistently. It's gotten better over the years. Obviously, he's playing in, you know, a weak conference, but still, North Dakota State puts out pro players every single year and
Yeah.
successful ones at that. He has a pass blocking grade that is very good. You can work with this guy, get him in an NFL system, get him better coaching than he has at North Dakota State, and really work with him. I would like this pick.
No, it makes a lot of sense, especially if you consider, Biotis is gone, and if you want to just go ahead and say, okay, Tyler or Tyron Smith is probably not back on the team, you're essentially trying to build an offensive line here. You realize when you're talking about your left tackle and your center are getting replaced and you're moving stuff around, you're basically talking about restructuring your offensive line. So getting as much competition in there and as many, qualified tackles and guards as you can makes
Oh,
sense.
yeah.
Absolutely. I got to say good night to my daughter, Emmy. I love you. Be good for mama. And with that, Landry, do you have anything to say about this kid, Jalen Sundle? Are you there, Landry? Oh, maybe he can't hear us. All right, are you good to draft him, Jimmy?
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
All right, let's go ahead and do
100%.
it. And here is our draft. Dun da 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 da.
He's a prospect.
Hey,
Yeah,
you
and
know,
when we're done with this one, EJ, if you don't mind running through one more quick one, I'm going to show you something, but go ahead.
I was just gonna say, hey, Zach Frazier feels an instant need. Edrin Cooper the same. Blake
It
Corum
does.
we feel good about. McKinley Jackson A minus on that one. Big nasty up the middle. Xavier Thomas and Jalen Sundle, both developmental pieces that can work into the rotation. So I feel good about those guys. You have
Yeah.
anything to say about this, or you just want to run it back real quick?
No, looks good. I like the top three. I mean, like we said, that kind of it feels like that's where, depending on what happens, if we make any trades or free agency moves, lineman, running back, linebacker, or lineman, linebacker, running back have to be your top three needs. We did that. That's solid. But yeah, I'd like to run it back real quick just to
Let's go
take
ahead.
a look if we
Yeah, I
did
Lan-
mean, it
move
seems
because
like
the Cowboys are.
at this point, it's
Landry, are you able to hear us now? No? Yes? I don't know if he's there. I don't know if he can hear us.
Audio check,
Okay, well,
Landry.
he's popping. What? How many rounds do we need to do? 3 is okay, or no?
Give me 4 or 5 at least. 4 or 5. We'll do
Okay,
5. That's
go
good.
ahead. 5 again. Okay, we got to make it quick. Let's go.
Yeah, for sure. No, I got. Yeah, no, it will be.
Okay, this is your draft, so go ahead.
Okay. What we got?
We got Jaden Daniels, Graham Barton, Tyler Nubin, Peyton Wilson up there. Finally, Tyler Guyton up there. Lab
okay.
McConkey, Zach Frazier, Adonai Mitchell, Troy
Right. So
Franklin.
go with Graham there. I feel like if JPJ is probably gone. If JPJ is still there at this point, then that's who we're all going with, obviously. But
So
um,
you're going with Graham Barton.
right, Barton here
What happened to Peyton
Lan-
because
Wilson?
I just feel like that's an A+ round one pick.
Landry, can you
Uh,
hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you. What happened to Peyton Wilson that he wanted so much?
well, as of right now, if Tyron and Tyler Biotis are gone, we need some offensive linemen, a little more than linebackers. So
Then go pay for one.
they
Figure out the DAC
no doubt.
contract.
No, just
All
I
right,
hope
hey,
we do.
we're going with Graham Barton.
You got
All
it.
right.
All right, we got Kamari Lassiter, Javon Bullard, Kyrie Jackson, Jonathan Brooks, Kieran Amagaji, Marshawn Nealand, Jalen Polk, Edrin Cooper, Xavier Leggett, Christian Haynes, Jalen McMillan, Junior Colson, Xavier Worthy, Berlin Trice, and that's all the people. Or Tavondre Sweat is
Yeah, no,
also
I'm
there.
I'm taking Edgren Cooper again here, and I really, you know what, and I really hope this draft. Really hope this draft gives us Edgren Cooper in the second round, like for real, for real. That would be nice. I don't see it
Landry,
happening, but
Landry, you want to put your 2 cents in here? You feel the same?
Wait, I'm confused. What, we're drafting again?
Yeah,
I just wanted to run a quick one.
Jimmy just wanted to run through something real quick and try to
Go
beat.
ahead. Let him run through it real quick. Just
Okay.
run through
Yeah.
it. Make your picks.
Okay, here we go. Malachi Corley, which is an interesting wide receiver, kind of Debo Samuel esque. You got Cedric Van Brand, so you can get a center, or it depends on if you're trying to play Barton there at center. Blake Corum again. You got Kalen Bullock. You got Bucky Irving. Um, Pooney out of Kansas, Marshawn Lloyd. What are you feeling?
So get me back up to the top of the list here.
This is the top of the list.
Okay.
You want me to highlight certain positions?
No. I'll take Cedric. I'll take
Cedric
a
Van
center.
Pran? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cowboys. Hey, they finally got rid of our 4th round pick on here. That was messed up for so long. All right.
Oh, really?
Here we go. These are the players you got. Do you want me to read some of them off, or are you good?
Yeah. I'm good. You can just scroll just a little bit.
Okay.
Good here.
Good with
Yeah,
that?
they didn't quite make it.
Who are you looking for?
I was really hoping a Bucky Irving here. I feel like we would have to just wait one more round and go Frank Gore Jr. or something. But if I was stuck here, I'm I don't know. I don't really care too much for Tyrone Tracy out of Purdue, even though I was hoping to draft running back here. Yeah, my draft went awry. I failed miserably.
All right, we're just gonna go back to the big board right here. You just want to
Yeah, what are the
submit a
grades?
pick real quick?
If you just happen to get through that, well, I'm just curious as to what the grades are on Barton.
Players you picked.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just click somebody. Let's say Ryan Watts for your last pick.
Okay.
Alrighty. You got a B minus, an A minus, and a B plus for your picks of those 3 guys. All right. Well, with that, oh, my thing is all messed up. I don't know what
Another B plus overall.
There
and
we
I
go.
feel like that's probably where the Cowboys will actually land in this draft. Is about a B plus overall.
Yeah. No, that's a good spot to be at. With that being said, hey guys, if you were in the chat, please do leave that like, hit that notification bell. We do it every single Tuesday night with new guests. Super honored to have these guys not only get on my show, but want to be on my show. Hit me up and it was like, hey, when are we doing it next time?
That's right.
And so, couldn't thank them enough. So with that, go ahead and shout out your guys' individual Twitters and then also the Star We Are Twitter as well.
All right. While Andrew's playing
tackle
football over there with his phone on.
I got him.
Yeah.
It's at Landry's Legend and at the Star We Are. We're easy to find.
Yes, sir.
Falcon
Jimmy
Falcon said, dude, don't touch your camera, okay?
No, I'm over it tonight.
He said I didn't get the pick I wanted.
Yeah.
Nah, we gotta. We'll have to rerun it back again when Landry isn't dropping and coming back so much and all that stuff.
Terrible, man.
When we make some free agency moves, he'll be happy.
It's all right. Hey, pleasure to have you guys on. As for me,
and real quick, EJ, if I may, just throw a little plug out there. Of course, we're always for fans by fans. This last Christmas, we ran a raffle with Wanye Thomas and raised some money for some charity, and a fan won a jersey, a signed ball, and $1,000. And currently, we are running a raffle right now for 2 jerseys. It's a Dak Prescott, Deion Sanders throwback 75th year anniversary, 2 jerseys and $421 you can win. If we max out our entries, we're going to throw an extra $1,000 on top of it to the winner if we max out the 200 entries. And then again, proceeds are going to go to the YMCA of Metropolitan Dallas. So raising money for the kids there. So great cause, great chance to win some money, a couple jerseys. And we're working on getting a signed ball thrown in as well. But for now, it's the 2 jerseys, the cash. And so anybody willing to check out our page and get your hands on that, it's for a good cause and great chance to win something.
Still plenty of time.
Oh yeah, April 21st.
We're not doing this until 4/21. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a great cause. Appreciate you guys all for supporting these guys, supporting me. I'm EJ Savage. Like I said, do it every single Tuesday night. Hop in next time. We'll have a new guest. And with that being said, peace.